Howdy everyone, hope you're all doing well. Angel from Angel Noble Exchange on Instagram, also the sole proprietor of Nobleman's Apothecary, leather belts, leather hat bands, wallet ropes, false tongues, and much more soon to come. Today is the counting day for votes on the presidential election 2020. So everyone voted yesterday. Today we're counting votes, and I'm guessing results will be in by, hopefully by Friday. So Godspeed to us all, huh? Today I have for you Chisos, more Chisos. Video number 3 of Chisos beats out of Texas. All right, so we all are aware of the number 2 in brushed brown, right? I also did the video on the number 5, the rough out snip toe. So the number 2 is a square toe. Calls it the ranch boot. As you can see, mine gets worn pretty much every day. I pretty much wear this, if not all day. If I'm wearing, say, my number 5s, the snip toe, which is a little bit more slim, a little bit more skinny of a foot last. I tend to, if I'm on my feet all day in the number 5s, I usually tend around 3 p.m., 4 p.m. I'll tend to slip into the number 2s, the square toe, the ranch boot, because they're a lot more comfortable, and there's really no comparison between the two. This is really a relaxed foot. End of the day, I mean, instead of kicking your boots off, you can keep these on, and your feet will be chilling. So my number 2s are my go-to, just because feet tend to swell toward the end of the later part of the day, do they not? Number 5s, though, very, very impressed with the durability, which I'm not surprised, because rough out leather is very, very durable. So these are also very durable and more than happy to take you anywhere you need to go on the ranch. So these are the ranch boot, but these are more than up to the task. I also like how different they are. I like to switch things up. I don't like to wear the same thing every day. And that's why I've got Chisos boots, because they make something for any occasion for the most part. Okay. Then the last video I made, we had the number 2s in the magic black, and I was again very impressed with the contrast just from these two here, these neutral colors, and going to straight black with that Chisos red line there. And it has a different, same silhouette. I call it a jawline because it has a more of a broad kind of the footprint of the sole, the outsole. It has more of a triangular, like a nice jawline. So took a few photos of these. And very impressed. And I'm always a huge fan of the stitching. Chisos has the longhorn there, the petroglyphs on the number 2, and the number 1 though. The number 1, I gotta say that the shaft embroidery, the shaft stitching on the number 1 really had my attention from the get-go. But I mean, I like square toes, and I really wanted to try snip toe. So I kind of left the No.1 for last. Um, Also, Chisos has a. It was released today, actually, teasing us all through the week. And today they released their newest. It's called the Reserve, which is Texas alligator, large scales. I love it. Really nice looking. And again, it was released today, but the video is even still more of a teaser than anything. I want to say I saw there was like tooling done on the shaft leather, which looked like maybe the Chisos Mountains, different from the No.1 though. So I was really interested. Well, I'm still very interested in seeing more photos and pictures of those being taken. The other cool thing is you're able to choose your toe shape in this new exotic release that they had today. So the Reserve is actually, there's only going to be 40 pairs made. You're able to choose not only your size but your width, but your toe shape. So you can do round toe, you can do square toe, or you can do snip toe, which I think it's pretty cool. I don't know of any other boot companies that are doing that are giving you that option. So, very cool. The price does reflect that, though. So, they got you there with the price. And I mean, let's face it. There's no matter what price you set, there's always going to be a price that people are willing to pay. So, shout out to Will and Katie. I mean, they do deserve it. Their quality lives up to the name. So, and they have proceeds that go to the Texas Wildlife and Parks Fund. I'm probably saying it wrong, but they give part of their proceeds to conserving land in Texas national parks, which is very cool. So, excuse me for a second. It's about 1:30, and I always make sure to have a second cup of coffee. Okay, the No.2 in Black Magic. I can't say enough about them. They're simple because they're just black. They're blacked out, and if you saw my last video, they looked really good. A lot of people don't like the square toe. Some people have a preference for what kind of square toe they're into. Some people like the really broad toe with the double stitching. I've seen some with triple stitching now for aesthetic reasons. They don't look terrible, but I think it's a little over the top with triple stitching. Chisos does a very classy approach with their square toe, which I like. I like their square toe. If I were to compare it to, I would say Real Sub Mercedes has a very similar shaped square toe. As far as the upper, like the vamp, the actual toe box, very similar to Real Sub Mercedes. Kind of close to Kovas in the shape. Other than that, there's not much difference. There's not much similarities there. Quality's way better. Chiso's quality is way better. It's a different level, different price point, but everything else reflects that price point. So, let's see. And, also Tecovas has a very, very slim, like a dress boot style of outsole, and it's just not for me. It looks nice, very sleek, very slim and low profile. But I like a little bit with my cowboy boots, at least. I like a little bit more of a pronounced sole, outsole edge. So, like with these No.5s here, the outsole profile is a little slim. However, they add that white stitching, which adds a bold contrast to the makeup of it, as well as the white stitching on the shaft and the toe bug there. So it's a very nice, classy touch there that they did. Yeah, Chisos develops. They don't just design out of a scrapbook or whatever catalog that their factory makes their boots. They've taken the time and they develop their design, the from the cosmetics, the aesthetics, the materials used, and the construction process. So Chisos has earned whatever price point they set. I will say that. So, not to say that the reserve boot is not expensive, because it is. However, if you go to many custom cowboy boots, custom cowboy boot makers, $4,000 is an entry level price point. So take that for what you will. And the fact that they allow you the opportunity to choose your toe shape, that's that is service on a different level than if you compare to any one of these more popular brands. So yeah. Okay, let me set these aside really quick. Okay, I'm back. Here we have, this is something that I wanted from the get-go, but we had some other flavors I wanted to try first, including that number 2 in the Magic Black. Was something that very different from this number 2. The black and the brown are two completely different looks. So now here I have the number 1, if you can see there, N1 for number 1, 11.5. And this is lot 77 on my other videos, or my first Chisos videos. I noticed this extra number here. This is the lot number. Again, Will, very responsive. I mean, he's sending me messages. Hey, it was a good eye on that little thing, on that little detail there. That's actually the lot numbers. And so as I was looking through the boots, they have on the inside, the interior of the shaft, you have your size, and then you actually have your lot number there. So that's pretty cool. The printing on the inside of your boot shaft has the same number as what's on your box. So I mean, it makes sense, right? Fresh unboxing, has not been opened. I only removed the shipping box. So yeah. Okay. Now, Chisos has a pretty unique, different from other brands. Their packaging, I like it. I don't like the whole suitcase lifting up, but I mean, it's cool. I like this better though. Whatever. The cool thing is, you can, if you think about it, you can actually open your box up in a stack of boxes. You don't have to take the ones off of the top just to open it and see what is actually in this box. So that's very cool. Alright, so we have a checklist. And we have... Oh, the other thing I was going to mention was that first, the video on the number 5s, I noticed, so I had the bags, they came with the bags, and I was mentioning that it looked like the bags had some like red dye that came off of the inside of the box. I got a response, a message from Will saying, hey, the red dye on the inside of the boxes, we're actually working on that now. You see any red dye? That's cool. That's cool. Will and Katie are listening, so keep it up, guys. Okay. Put the baby down. Hold on. Let me get the other one out. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm going to leave this here because I want to do a comparison between the two black boots. Okay. So, the No.1 in Magic Black. So the No.1 thing I liked about the No.1 was the stitching. I mean, I hope you guys can see that. But we have the sun on the front with the Chisos Mountains. Sun on the front with the Chisos Mountains. And then on the back, you have your stars and crescent moon. Yeah, they both have the crescent moon on the back. And they mirror each other, right? Yeah, so they actually face each other. And also, so the heritage leather in the Magic Black also has a very unique, like a pebble texture. It's very different from the brushed brown. The brushed brown doesn't really have that pebbled texture that the Magic Black does. So the brushed brown looks like it has some kind of like a dye, like a finish applied to it, and it gives it a type of marbling effect. And as you can see there, like I said, I wear these all the time, and this is probably from me sitting at, I just set up a bunch of new pallet furniture in the backyard. But I love that. It just adds to the character, and I don't baby my boots. I don't. But yeah, so the brush brown, which is I love that. I love the brush brown look. But it has a very different look from the Magic Black, which again is heritage leather, retired dairy cow leather. I also really like how good of a job they do on the black and then buffing the black edge. I mean, it's very, very nice. Again, very, very big fan of the red line. Let me go grab the No.2s. Man, those are good looking. And I'll do a bit of B-roll. I'll do a bit of B-roll so you guys can get a closer look at the details here. Once we move to the on foot. But I mean, it doesn't get any more simple than a black boot, right? Black boot, black leather, black sole edge. It's got the black stitching. It's blacked out. Then you got your red. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe some kind of like a neoprene or type of polyurethane. That red line is another density of, like I said, a urethane or silicone or something, and it's meant to dissipate impact on your knees. And I noticed every time I wanted to cover this part, I kept forgetting to mention this, but I am 33, almost 34, mean, I've got my hips, they've been abused. Like 15 years installing granite countertops. My hips are trash. Good back. I mean, I've lifted hundreds of pounds daily from Monday through Friday for 15 years straight, and I got a damn good back. Knees, pretty good. No problems with my knees. But my hips, that was the weakest link. And as much as I love a traditionally constructed boot, maybe that's why I'm so biased towards them, but Chisos really, really adds a completely new dynamic to comfort. And Will's mentioned that he's had a few, like a motorcycle accident, weightlifting accident, and so his joints have had. I mean, my hips are benefiting from the added uh, impact dissipation that's provided by their construction methods. So from the removable insole, triple density removable insole, which I will show you here. So you've got your top layer of leather, then you've got which I think is like a pour-on leather, and then you've got a more dense. Plus, you have your gel pads there. You've got your audible sound that you get with most cowboy boots, and this still has it, but it just adds a little, like a lower pitch of that heel click. It's just like a don't, so it's nice. Let me do the No.1. Pull out the insoles, take a look at those. Okay. So as you can see, this is a very noticeable difference in the lasts used to create the shape of the No.1 and the No.2. So let's take out the No.5, shall we? Let's do all right foots, though. Okay. So in the No.5, which looks crazy, doesn't it? It's like I was a little skeptical when I first was unboxing. You could see me. I was like, "What is going on? What did I do?" But you can see my feet. Well, I'm not sure if you can see, but my feet, the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot, and then you can see kind of each individual toe imprinting there on that leather. I'm like, man, how did my foot fit in there? But it does. Okay, then you have actually very similar in these two, more so than the No.2. The No.1 and the No.5 are more similar in toe box, but it definitely, you see that? Hopefully the camera's not playing autofocus games. So those are both 11.5D, okay? And then you have this is actually an 11D. So let's do this one here, the brush brown, that's an 11.5D, just like the No.1 and the No.5. So let's I really love these insoles. I can tell that these have just another layer, another level of comfort. Because it's not a fabric that is sitting on top of the footbed, this insole, it's actually a layer of leather, which is antimicrobial. It naturally moisture wicking, so I love leather just for its natural characteristics and benefits. So let's see, the number 5. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but you can see how relaxed my foot is in the number 2. You've got space in between each toe. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see that, but there is a gap in between each toe. Number 5, a little more crammed where my toes are sitting. You can see that. And my last video, I was talking about how the number 5, a lot more slim than the number 2. I have a slimmer foot. I'm a D shape in general. I'm a D size. In the number 2, though, when I chose to order these black Magic Blacks in an 11D, after I was, experiencing the more drastic difference in the shape of the inside, the room, the toe box, and all that. So, if you get the number 2, I would suggest, if you're like a regular D width or just an E width, you might want to try a half size down from your normal round toe, cowboy round toe shape. So take it for what you will. Always try them on initially on carpet, something very soft. So you don't scratch your leather bottom sole. And should the sizing be off, you can always return them and no issues. That way Chisos can still, sell that undamaged, unworn boot. I really, really am liking this pebble texture finish. Very nice. Let me see if I can... Okay, so here's the 11D and the 11.5D. 11.5D and the 11D. See if I can... It's not really any wider, except for the fact that this portion is just moved up about, I don't know, a quarter of an inch. So I hope you guys can hear me right? But it's no wider. It's just the toe box is moved forward about a quarter of an inch. So, but with a narrower toe shape, the number 2s have a little bit wider of a toe box, and so that's why I chose the number 2 in 11D, and they fit me perfect. So this video is going to be, if you're still watching, we have 3 different shoe lasts by Chisos, and today we're going to try on the number 1s in this just a classic cowboy round toe shape, and I want to see if the 11.5D fits me good as the number 5s do. I think that's probably going to be the case, being that this number 1, the Chisos number 1's insole, looks a lot closer to the number 5's insole. So stay tuned. Man, just one more time. Look at that. Yeah, man. Fire. All right, everyone. The 2 contenders and the 2 spectators. Don't worry, guys. You guys will still be loved just as much. Trust me. So again, here's the No.1 Magic Black. That Heritage Dairy Cow leather. Heritage retired Dairy Cow leather with this incredible pebbled texture, it looks like to me. Traditional round toe, the No.1. Jeremiah Craig really seemed to like these. I know that he did get the No.2s and the No.1s, and it seemed like he chose the No.1s. And so that was another reason why I was like, I gotta try me some of those No.1s. The stars, I mean, that's just the coolest design to date. Well, technically, yeah, to date, because the reserve has not been completely released yet. We don't know all the details about the shaft pattern stitching, but Chisos, if you know, they do a really interesting job of their shaft stitching design. Very cool. The main thing that draws me toward these No.2s is that broad, more broad outsole, which I really, really like. The No.2s just a little bit more low profile, but damn, they're just classic black boots. And that's stitching on the shaft. Not that I wear shorts with my boots, but this almost makes me feel like I have to wear shorts. I'm kidding. Relax. Okay, so let's get an on feet. All right, guys. No.2 here, and I'll try them both on, just for the sake of having them both in the same room and not actually being in the Chisos showroom. So I'm gonna try on these No.1s first, and try to keep in mind how slim the No.5 is. So again, this is the No.1. This is Chisos' first release in the men's line. Was the No.1. And that went right on. Wow. It slid right on. That actually went on a lot smoother than my No.5s. And I kind of want to say even my No.2s in brush brown, but that's probably, you know why, is because that heel cup is still open on the top and has not actually formed to the back of my heel, so it's not starting to wrap around the top of my heel. So, back in frame. Feeling a little bit of kind of like a squeak, and that's my sock sliding onto the inside leather of that leather heel counter. You heard that right, leather heel counter. Doesn't get any more traditionally built than Chisos. And new school built than Chisos. They do. I really like the look of the black boot up against the selvage denim. This is a pair of Brave Star selvage denim, US made. The textile is actually woven in Japan. That is where most of our cone mills denim shuttle looms have been shipped over and sold to Japan. So most selvage denim is now woven new in Japan, if it's not sourced from the cone mills before they closed down in, I don't know, 2015 or something like that. This is selvage denim. You cowboy boot lovers, you Americana style lovers, get yourselves a nice pair of straight cut selvage denim. They're gonna look great with your cowboy boots. I really like them. They are definitely a little bit more snug, not uncomfortable, a little bit more snug, but not quite as snug as the number 5s were. This is an 11.5D, so this is on the larger size of my spectrum, sizing spectrum, because I can go from an 11.5 to 11, depending on the toe last, shoe last. Number 2s, these are 11, and I'm going to try these on. I think I said that right. These are 11.5D. These are 11D. The number 2 in brush brown, I initially got, which were my first pair of Chisos, in 11.5D. And I learned that the square toe shape actually is a little bit more broad on the inside. And just want to make sure there's no gravel or anything on this clean cardboard, because I want to keep those soles looking fresh. These also slide very nicely. And I can't wait to see the footage too, because this is a comparison for me as well. Back in frame, hold your horses, keep your shirts on, I'm right here. So, oh man. Okay, so after going from an 11.5D, extremely comfortable, in the number 2s, extremely comfortable, getting a pair of number 5s, extremely comfortable, but not as hour by hour, long day on your feet kind of comfort, at least not yet. I think the upper still needs quite a bit of, quite a few hours to completely break in. Again, I don't wear my same boots every day. I let them air dry at least every other day. I try. I learned that if I was going to get these number 2s, I should probably half size down just to try it, because the number 2s had just a little bit more room than I was, feeling comfortable with. I figured if I got size, you know how it is with boots. You get your sizing down right, and you're gonna be a happy camper, especially with Chisos. So let me try my left foot in these and my right foot in the left foot. Raw. Number ones, right foot number twos. Well, how do I look? How do I look, Mom? Well, well, well. What do we have here? What, you guys are still wondering which one of these I chose? Well, to be honest, it's a good question. I don't blame you. They both are very, very good looking boots. Are they not? Alright. So the number one is Chisos' original boot. It's their first boot. They started out by releasing it in black. Then they released the number two in the brushed brown. Recently, they started making these in the brushed brown as well, which I gotta say, looking pretty good. My favorite thing about the brushed brown is that the stitching on the shaft is it's black stitching, so the contrast is more stark and easier to see. But I mean, that monochromatic look of the number one with that stitching. Speaking of monochromatic, I mean, the number two is now available in Magic Black as well. So, oh man, this is quite the predicament I put myself in. Shout out to Will for allowing me to review both boots. But the decision still remains I need to make. I can only pick one of these. I can only keep one. The other one I have to send back to Will and Katie. So, oh man. So the number two, I would say, I'm going to say this again, I recommend sizing down half a size in your width. The number two has a bit roomier of an interior for your foot in general. Even the heel all the way up to the foot, it's a very generous fitting boot. And I would recommend it for anyone that is very, very active outdoors, doing any kind of physical labor, a lot of moving around on your feet. The number two is going to give you right out of the box comfort. You're not going to have any issues as long as your sizing is correct, just like any boot. The number two is going to be the go-to for the active person that is distinguished and loves high-quality craftsmanship that you get from Chisos. Okay? All right, moving on. The number one, though, It's got the classic round toe look. For me personally, it will more complete. It would complete my Chisos lineup, 3/4 of it anyway, with that whole new reserve release. It's nice. Check it out. Also, I think owning one boot in each one of their toe shapes is going to give me a good idea of what my favorite toe shape will be. So take it for what you will. If you want to know which one of these two I keep, decisions. If you want to know which one I end up keeping and which one I end up sending back, I'm going to invite you to follow me on Instagram at Ange_Noble_exchange. I'll put that down over here somewhere over there. Shout out to Will. Shout out to Katie at Chisos. Them two have been incredible. They make it very easy for me to share my love for the company and the brand. Also, shout out to Nick Ryan at Lone Star Boot Reviews. He's got a YouTube channel as well. Him and I talk pretty much every day now for the last week and a half. Nice guy, very nice guy. He's got a very good YouTube channel. My last video was on the No. 2 and Magic Black, and it was funny because as I was editing, he dropped his video on these No. 2s as well. So 2 videos so far, well 3 now, 2.5 on the Chisos No. 2 and Magic Black on YouTube. Check out Lone Star Boot Reviews, and go ahead and like and subscribe, and do the same for me too, will ya? Check you guys out in the next one. Enjoy your day, and